Welcome to the Next Level You podcast. In today's episode, we dive deep into how to keep the dream alive if you are teetering on whether to continue or whether to give up. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm your host, Jamie Lang, and welcome to the Next Level You. Inside this podcast, we dive deep into the inner workings of your mind, how to elevate your life, the necessary subconscious reprogramming to the undeniable laws of success, and the tools, techniques, steps, and lessons I have learned in my 25-year journey of inner growth and development. You can expect hard truths and honest conversations about what it takes to up-level your life and step into the best version of yourself. Join me on this journey in creating your best life. Ready to become that next level you? Let's begin. Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Next Level You. I am Jamie Lang and I am so grateful to be here with you and excited about this episode. This is definitely something that is close to my heart, especially recently. There have been many feelings of teetering of, should I give up on a goal or should I continue going? And so this episode really comes from, finding ways to keep the dream alive, keep that fire burning inside you. Now, there's one thing that we can't change or control, and that's what happens to us. But what we can change and control is our response and reaction to what happens to us. It's not what happens, but the meaning that we give what happens that will affect our life. So how do we keep that dream alive? So first of all, I want to just share with you something personal that I don't even remember how or exactly when this started, but my dream has always been, since I was a late teenager, to have a business of my own, to be an entrepreneur, to be able to earn my own money in my own business and be my own boss. Now, no one in my family had ever been a business owner or an entrepreneur. So I don't actually know where this goal was born or what inspired me to want that for myself. All I can assume is that it was something so deep inside me that maybe from a previous life or maybe my higher calling, but it was so strong that I couldn't ignore it. The gut feeling and the burning desire within me started from such a young age. I could feel it so strong, like I had done it before, that there was no other option but to follow that path. Now, if I, hadn't have followed that path, then that could have led and would have led rather to a unfulfilled life, to a life of settling instead of striving for what I really want. So, examples of deep desires for you might be in travel. Maybe you're someone that, has always wanted to travel or is traveling, might be traveling the world. It could be starting and having a family. It could be wanting better relationships, maybe with the ones that you've got, or maybe creating new relationships. As it was for me, it could be starting a business or building financial freedom and stability. Whatever your deepest desires are for you, they are there for you. They are there to inspire you to take action in order to create the life that you really want. But the road to anything is not straight. The road to creating big goals specifically doesn't come without its challenges, without hurdles and obstacles that you need to overcome. But that's okay, because that's all part of the journey. And so this episode is about how do you keep that dream alive in you despite the obstacles, despite the challenges, despite the time potentially that it's going to take you. Maybe you've tried something before and didn't quite hit the mark. And you're teetering on, well, is that really meant for me? Maybe you're frustrated for not being where you want to be, or where you think you should be, or where you feel you should be. That's why you're teetering on whether to give up. I want to ask you, compared to what and according to whom are you, I guess, comparing or justifying where you're at in your goals? Thomas Edison, in some people's eyes, failed to create the light bulb 1,000 times, or over 1,000 times. When he was asked about that, about the failures, his reply was, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that didn't work before I found the way that worked. Now, obviously, I'm completely paraphrasing there, but you get the idea. So if you're going for something and you've come up with a challenge, you've come up with a hurdle, or you are, questioning whether it's worth it, whether you should keep going for it, think of Sir Isaac Newton, that took over 1,000 ways to find the way that did work for the light bulb, which we all enjoy the his invention and creation daily. My daughter recently was, or is, playing football. Now she's tried probably every code of football, but her passion is NRL. And after a few years of having, to put it bluntly, a few crappy seasons with coaches and with teammates, she's decided to change codes. And, that was a lot, I guess, for me to understand in her way of thinking. But in rather than giving up on, a sporting, not even a career at this age, but a sporting performance or in the enjoyment, she's changed codes, and that's keeping the dream alive in her of continuing on that trajectory that she could have very easily have given up completely. So think about, what are you comparing, to whom, and according to whom should you be at a certain place already? Examples for myself in my business specifically. Back when I was 26, I started a life coaching business. And, I look back at that time. Well, number one, I don't think that, I gave it enough time. I did get clients. I was doing well, but life circumstances took me in another direction. Fast forward even 10 years from that business, I'm at 36, and I am running a martial arts studio with 5 locations across Western Sydney, where the revenue is multiple hundreds of thousands per year. I've got a team of 15 instructors. We've got hundreds of students, and it was booming. In my eyes, I was being successful. But if I hadn't gone through my life coaching business in order to continue with that dream of keeping the dream alive inside me of creating success, potentially I could have gone back to an employed position and not followed through. I at the age of 24 until I was 26, I went through IVF to try and start a family. I desperately and deeply wanted to have children. Now, fast forward to when I was 32, I had 2 beautiful girls, but the process of getting there was that I wasn't in the right relationship, that I had to find the right partner, but that I ended up having the girls naturally. And so definitely having gone through those obstacles helped me get to where I ultimately wanted to be. a house. Was post-divorce and was renting, had no ability to be able to buy in Sydney. At the time, if anyone that lives in Sydney knows how expensive it is. But then fast forward 10 years, we've built, near the beach. We are about to now, fast forward another 10 years, we're about to start building our dream home even closer to the water. So, everything happens as it is meant to, but sometimes it takes longer and sometimes there are hurdles and challenges that you need to overcome. But the key here is understanding and learning how to keep that dream alive despite the things that pop up along the way. So, what is stopping or slowing your progress? Now, I've said this word a couple of times, and every time I've said it, I have cringed a little bit because it's absolutely something that I pick up on my own language. But are you shoulding on yourself? Are you saying, I should be here? Or are other people saying you should be there already? Shoulding on yourself is detrimental to progress at any level. You are right now exactly where you are meant to be. So start counting the small wins and the progress because that all adds up. If I go back to my example of my life coaching business to then when I was running our martial art business across Western Sydney, the progress, each, I guess, month or a year, if I look back, it was steady and consistent. Things don't happen in big leaps. But then looking back, you can see the big leaps that do actually occur with all the little steps that happen along the way. So stop shooting on yourself. That's not going to help with keeping the dream alive of whatever your goal is. You are where you are meant to be, and count the small wins in the progress. It all adds up. Get out of your own head and own way. When you start to question yourself and your ability, you are standing in direct alignment or directly to where you need to be. So get out of your head and your way. Shift your perspective. Rather than ask questions such as, why aren't I there yet? Ask a better question of, what can I do today to inch myself closer? So, going back to the example of my daughter with her sport, she was saying things to herself of, well, why aren't I getting field time? Or, why is he choosing other players over me? And rather than asking that, it was, what can I do in order to get more field time? What can I do in order to make my game better? What can I do in order to improve my skills? So shift your perspective of where you're at and the questions that you're asking and how you can improve where you are today. Think about what it would mean to you to not have what you are desiring. And this, for me, has been something that has come up recently of, I've got a lot of things going on in my life and I've got a lot of strings being pulled. And there have been thoughts of, this is all too hard. I should give up. And just the thought of what that would mean, of settling, of going back to employment permanently, of, I would fast forward in my brain what my life would look like in a year, in 5 years. That pain or that discomfort of the reality of what that would look like in my life is enough to push me forward and snap me out of that thought pattern of giving up. And so if you can create enough pain for yourself of what your life would look like if you don't get what you want, That's enough to propel you forward past the current obstacle or hurdle that you're facing. For the pain of regret far outweighs any pain of discipline. That's all I've got for you on today's episode of Keeping the Dream Alive in You. As always, if you know anyone that would resonate with what we're talking about, feel free to share. Go ahead, tag me in a post if you find that this deeply resonates with you. And until next time, what you shine a light on cannot stay hidden. See you then. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Next Level You. If you loved and found value in today's episode, be sure to share it with me so I can continue delivering valuable content and inspire more listeners. And if you haven't connected with me on social media, come and join me on Instagram, where you can find extra doses of inspiration at The Jamie Lang, or visiting my website at jamielang.com. That's spelled JAIMELAING. Your support means the world to me, and I'm so grateful for you all. Until next time, remember to embrace the journey to become the next level you.